Gary Sutton and Jeff Thompson sitting here tonight at Chambersburg High School. We're getting ready to do the Carlisle and Chambersburg game tonight. But wanted to have a little coaches get together here beforehand. Of course, Jeff has coached everywhere there is to coach in the Harrisburg area. I've coached a few teams over the years. But one of the things I want to talk about a little bit, Jeff, and it's not here yet, but in 2 years it's going to be, the BIA decided to approve a shot clock. I wanted to get your thoughts on that and talk about that a little bit here tonight, just our little coaches one-on-one.
Well, that's an interesting idea for sure. Now, this is our second game into the season with High School Sports Live, and our first game did not need a shot clock.
No.
But at times, and that was of course Reading and Central York. As a matter of fact, they should have had they should have made them take 32 seconds. The shot clock does a couple different things, and what I've noticed from watching Division III games in college is a lot of teams run their offenses to the clock. They make sure they use all that time. And so to a certain extent, it may slow the game down, but at the same time, at the end of game situations, it makes sure that you get another possession, and instead of just a fouling game at the end.
On first blush, being the old timer that I am, and you know, I had a state championship team, and then helped coach another one a couple years ago with Central. But bottom line was, I always liked teams that could handle the basketball. I thought there was beauty. I never liked people standing out front holding the ball. 6-4 games, never liked any of that in the old days, but I really liked the idea of the Princeton kind of stuff, where you'd be running and running and running and running. I think you probably still have room to do that. The clock's going to be, 30 to 35 seconds, somewhere in that neighborhood. But I really like the idea that you could still probably handle the ball. The problem's going to be the teams that could somehow handle it well enough to keep it away from them, teams who are much better physically and much better overall, probably aren't going to be able to do that as much anymore. And I think it's going to lend itself to a much higher scoring game. So if you're a lower scoring team, that uses the offense as part of your defense, I think you're going to run into some problems there with that. But who knows? They may adapt to that in the long run, as you said, and you made a great point. Division III college, they're running that clock down to a certain point and then running a set piece.
So you can look at it both ways. In high school, obviously, at the end of a game, if you have 5 guards, it's to your advantage to not have a shot clock. And if you can shoot foul shots, too. Those are the things. If you can pass the ball and shoot the foul shot, if you got in the game late in the game,
right,
you won the game because your kids can shoot foul shots. Now, if you have a 95% foul shooter and he's also a good guard, and you make that a rule, you don't upset teams with superior talent.
The other part of it too is at the end of a game, I always thought, if you're up 15 points, we're going to hang on to the basketball. It might start about 4 minutes in. Now, a lot of people don't like that style. But I said to my kids, there's one rule for sure that's 100% true. If I have the ball in the lead and you don't, I'm going to win. Okay, now it makes you take a possession every time. So you've got to figure out a way to take a wise possession at the end of the game if you have a lead so that you're not giving it up. So handling the basketball is still going to be important, but it certainly does change the amount of possessions you're going to have in a game where you want to cut it down at the end. You're now going to have to speed it up a little bit.
Yeah, that is a conundrum for sure, because one of the things I'm thinking is totally different is that they're going to implement this in the high school at the high school level, and I know that sometimes logistically that could be a problem if the shot clock breaks down or there's something that happens in that situation where all of a sudden you don't have it. It's going to cost more money for those schools, and I think that's why they were dragging their feet. I think everyone knows it's probably best for the game because the fans want to see action.
Yeah, I agree with you, and I think that's where it is. The fans want to see it. It's in college, it's in the pros. It was just a matter of time until it came down to high school. I'm just kind of sorry it got there, but I don't think it's bad for the game. I just think you're going to have to go out and adapt to a brand new style. It's going to be a lot of fun to watch. Hey, good chat with you, partner. Thanks a lot. Yeah, the three-point shot coming to Pennsylvania here in a couple of years. We're talking about our coaches one-on-one here tonight at Chambersburg High School. I'm Gary Sutton for Jeff Thompson.